And we are back from our break. I am here with Austin Creed.
Yeah.
Of UpUpDownDown.
Yeah. We're in my house.
We're in Atlanta, and it is hot here.
You weren't ready for it? You got a long sleeve jacket on and everything?
No, I wasn't. And I was actually walking downtown in Cincinnati Park with a hoodie on because I was like, I'm going to be hot either way, but I can at least put my hood up to not get terrible sunburn.
Well, if you want some shorts or something, I got you covered. Alex, you too?
So, some of our listeners might know you as Xavier Woods from WWE, but on UpUpDownDown, you're known as Austin Creed.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So that's what we're going to be really focusing on today is like your gaming, your history, especially with Pokemon, and just what you do.
Cool. Perfect.
This might also be weird because I'm recording with Austin in his house, like he said, and normally most of this is done through Skype, so it's exciting. So if I sound giddy, that's just my fanboy coming out. Let's just start things off right away. And what's your favorite Pokemon, man?
My favorite Pokemon is Butterfree, easily. And I let this knowledge out there, and there were lots of people that kind of like took a dump on it, and I was real upset about this because Butterfree is like so clutch to me. And the episode where he sets him free, and he's flying away with all the other Butterfrees, and there's like the single tear coming out of Ash's face. Like, are you serious? Do people have no heart? Like, there's no love for Butterfree?
Right? Yeah.
And also, I legit had this conversation at like 2 a.m. yesterday or this morning. We're talking about favorite starter Pokemon, and I always go with Charmander. And someone told me, no, that's a short-term thing because then you're just trying to run through the grass Pokemon that you're going to end up with first. If you're going long-term, then you know that you're going to be a Squirtle kind of person because he's going to help you win the game faster. It's like, I understand where you're coming from with this. But the thing that's funny is that Bulbasaur wasn't even in the conversation at all. At all. So no love for grass. But for me, when I can go Charmander, yes, I can burn through the bug Pokemon, but I can get my Butterfree way faster, and I can just put people to sleep and then burn them. So to me, that combo is
right. Yeah,
is you're done. You're done. And so I'm a Butterfree guy all the way.
So is that your hunt for Pokemon Go then? Is
100%
nothing but Caterpies and Metapods?
I have one Caterpie, and I'm so upset. I have, like I told you, I have like 30 Drowsies right now, and I'm so mad. All I want is Caterpies. If I can just find a Butterfree, then I'm fine. Then we're good there. Yeah. I don't have to evolve him. But yeah, that's what I've been looking for the whole time.
Okay, all right. So you're a very busy person.
A little bit.
I don't know how. I'll just jump to this question. How do you manage wrestling, TV, your YouTube? I'm sure you have to work out, of course.
Every once in a while.
Travel. How do you manage all that? Like, what's your day to day?
So there's this thing that I lost a long time ago that I haven't been able to find for like 10 or 12 years. And I believe in the ancient mythos, it's called sleep.
Okay.
It has been evading me for years. Yeah, like I didn't sleep last night because I was editing videos. I've got Overwatch series coming up on UpUpDownDown. So we've got like, we started last week and I'm trying to get a video up a day. So editing for that. And then had to leave the hotel at 4 a.m. to catch a 6 a.m. flight to get back to Atlanta. To get ready for the day and everything, since we're gonna go capture Pokemon around my city,
right?
But yeah, I don't know. I always feel like if there's something that you want to do, you make time for it. You figure out how to make it work. And you know, like I said, I travel a lot, so I'm on airplanes, and so I sleep there, sleep a little bit in hotels. But I don't know. It's just being able to kind of mash all the things that I love together makes me happy, rather than saying like, oh, I wrestle, so I have to just wrestle right now, and when I'm done wrestling, then I have to do something else. It's like, no, I want to do them all, and I want to do them all at the same time, so I'll figure out a way.
Make time.
Yeah.
Just like I was like, oh, I could interview Austin. I'll make time for that.
Yeah, it worked out.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Do you feel with all that you're spreading yourself too thin? I forgot to mention that like you're also still getting your PhD.
Yeah, which is a very interesting situation with school right now. So this is the first time I've talked about this. I haven't even thought about it. So I was at the dissertation phase with my school that I was at, Walden University. Don't ever go there. Don't ever give them money. They're the absolute worst. They're the devil incarnate in the school system. Yes, I can't stand them. So I was at the dissertation phase, and I was there for 2 years. They just refused to pass my topic, or to accept my topic. And what happened is they have, I think it was like 18 days to get back to you as a teacher. And so you'd send it in, say, hey, here's my topic. Here's my 10-page prospectus, which is like, this is what I want to do. Can I do it? They would email you back on day 17 and say, oh, there's a comma missing here, and you should capitalize this letter. I'm like, okay, that doesn't answer my question. Like, can we do this? Well, you need to fix this and send it back to me. It's like, okay, so I do that, send it back to them. And then 17 days later, they go, oh, this should be in the past tense, and this sentence here doesn't work. And it's like, okay, you're not helping me. So that happened for 2 years, to the point where I had my previous professors from college like look at everything, and they're like, no, this experiment is fine. You should be able to do this study. And I made 4 separate studies in that time, because I was like, oh, maybe something different will pop off. And each time I whittled it down to the finest point it could be. Like, my professors that are PhDs, they are doctors. Like, no, with this, the way it's laid out, like, you could start tomorrow and you could do this and it would be totally fine. So after that 2-year process, realizing they're not going to pass anything, they're just literally just taking my money, and I found out it was happening to a couple of other students as well, I decided to leave the school, and I started at Capella University. And so went through their intro course, and I dropped from 120 credits or 125 credits to 25 credits.
Wow.
So it was going to take another 3 years. Started their intro course, and by that time, New Day had popped off. It's my wrestling group, for those of you who don't know. So we were traveling, like, literally, our schedule was insane, like all over, even more than normal. And then stuff with UpUpDownDown, the gaming channel. So traveling for that, I didn't get through the intro course. And I was like, well, if I can't do the intro course right now, then I'm not going to be able to do like the actual classes. And so I talked to the advisor and everything. And he's like, well, you could take this class and this class if you just go through the intro again. But he's like, but I see you taking that here. And you've taken this class and this class and this class. And it's like, so he told me, he's like, you'd really just be taking them all over to get to the dissertation phase, which I looked through your stuff, you already essentially have done. So you're essentially already, you have all of the knowledge, but you have to give us this money so that you can go through and like call yourself a doctor. And it's like a soul crushing thing, because like that's all I've wanted. And so as of right now, I'm not in school, but I will go back once things ease up a little bit. And it's like, there was like a 3-month process where I was just broken down. And because like,
yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, since I was a little kid, like, this is all I've wanted. I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I wanted to be like, essentially, like, for lack of a better term, like, as a little kid, I was like, I want to be really smart. And so to have your PhD and for people to have to call you doctor, my dad said, it's almost like wearing a huge hat on your head of like, you know, those foam fingers, except this one's a middle finger. And you're just wearing it on your head and you can't take it off.
Right.
So spending so much time and focus on that, it was a very intense situation, and I kind of fell into like a deep pit of despair and like didn't talk to any of my friends, and I was just like crying in my room, like, what am I gonna do? And then I've kind of come to terms with it. It's very intense, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna finish, but still have 2 degrees and a master's and all the knowledge of a PhD, and it hurts.
Yeah. What's like interesting is I just know from like all our listeners, like some are wrestling fans and some are not, and that I get you get that with like any interest,
yeah.
I should say. But for like the non-wrestling fans who are now listening to you, like there's a lot more to some wrestlers, including like yourself or others, of like, not only does this dude wrestle, but he likes Pokemon, he likes video games, he's super into Overwatch now. And he's also getting his PhD. Like, that's a lot. Like, that's super impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. It's one of those things, like, I don't know, when I came up watching wrestling as a kid, like, it was all very, like, scream in your face and rah, and, like, punch, kick, and all that stuff. And I feel like that's the essential, like, stereotype that people have of what we do. And so knowing that guys from the previous era, there is a lot more to them. And guys from our era, there's a lot more to us. And so I kind of always wanted to show people that side of it and say, like, no, we're not just punching each other in the face and screaming at the top of our lungs. We do sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's fun sometimes. But on the other side of the coin, there's a lot of stuff that you don't know that we do. Like, there are lots of guys with college degrees and a few guys with master's degrees and guys who run their own businesses and guys who do this and do that and have all these other interests. And people not always, I feel like society has built us in a way where we kind of want to put people in a box and say, okay, you're a wrestler, that's what you do. Oh, you do Pokemon podcasts, that's what you do. You don't like anything else. That's what you are to me. And it's like, no, people are layered and they're multidimensional and there's so many different ways to look at a person, and that person has so many different ways to look at you. And they might be putting you in a box while you're putting them in a box. And if we quit putting people in boxes, then maybe things would flow a lot better between different cultures and races and things like that. And people would stop doing all the stuff that's going on currently. Like, we're getting into other things. Okay, so anyway.
No, that's like a good point, because for the longest time, this show was like, we started off being competitive because, like, if you play Pokemon, you must care about the competitive scene, and then we realized, like, oh, some people just like to collect and some people like to breed, and there's all these aspects. So we drastically changed the show a couple episodes back, where instead of just going right into Pokemon, which obviously people are here to listen about that, we're just going to talk about ourselves and our personalities. And there are so many other Pokemon podcasts in iTunes and on the web, and I think what makes our show a little bit special is we hope that the listeners get to know us.
Yeah.
And I think that's like really cool with you and other wrestlers, is I see you on TV every Monday and Thursday, now going to be Tuesday. But
coming soon.
But then, like, I see you outside, like I see you interact with the Giant Bomb guys, and I see you at CEO, and it's like, this guy is like really cool. And like, I hope when people look at our show or just other people in general, like other professions, they're just not seeing one side of a person.
Yeah, definitely. I think that helps draw people in sometimes, because they say, oh, here's your main interest or whatever it is. And it's like, oh, they like this, I like this. And now I get to learn about them as a person. So here's like, knowing Pokemon, that's like your foot in the door, and like, oh, okay, they like Pokemon too, cool. And then it's like, oh, now what kind of person am I looking at that also likes Pokemon like me,
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Going back to, you mentioned something about putting people in the box and a race. Like, how does it feel being like a person of color? Should I use that mic?
Yeah.
I could edit or cut that.
Yeah.
My girlfriend who's black told me. She said person of color. I usually just say black. Maybe I'll keep it in. It's funny. But
I like this bit.
But she was like, you should ask him how it feels being a person of color in like the gaming space right now. Because prior, I mean, if you look on YouTube, it's all like white dudes.
Yeah.
I'm a white dude.
Yeah.
So like, I get it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about having like a gaming channel. There are lots of people on color. I'm just gonna say black people. There's black people on YouTube, but you like you said, like a lot more white dudes. It's nice because from what I've been told, I don't look like the general definition of what like a nerd or a gamer looks like, which is very confusing to me, because like I've just always liked games and I've always read comic books. I've always been a nerd.
Our listeners can't see it right now, but you're wearing a tank top with like, and you're pretty built. So it's a little intimidating of like, most gamers don't work out.
But I feel like working out is a very game-oriented thing, because you're essentially going to the gym and you're completing quests and you're gaining experience and eventually leveling up. Which is just real life, But anyway.
Like 3 people have just signed up for gym
Yeah,
memberships.
see, there we go. We're bettering America and the world, one person at a time. But I don't know. So for me, like I got made fun of for a lot of stuff that I was into when I was a kid, and I was very socially awkward. I'm still kind of socially awkward now in certain situations, but video games and cartoons a lot, they really helped me kind of break out of that mold. And then they got me talking to other kids, and those kids who weren't socially awkward got me talking to other kids. And it's like, oh, cool. So like all this stuff that we kind of had in common helped bridge the gap, because, as a kid, everybody watches cartoons and everyone plays video games. But then like as we get older, for some reason, people are like, oh, those are childish, I'm not going to do that anymore. But they're in the closet like playing these games and
Right.
like reading the new copies of Superman and stuff. So I feel like kind of just like staying true to myself has helped me definitely get to where I want to be. But that doesn't mean that I only enjoy like one thing. So like I also liked sports as a kid. I didn't like watching them. I'm weird in that sense. I love playing sports, but I can't stand watching sports. Like if you take me to a baseball game, I'm asleep instantly. Football game, I'm like, it's okay. Wrestling match, I'll lose my mind. It's fantastic. Yeah. But as far as like video games and coming up as like a black kid, knowing what it was like for me, I want to be able to like show other like young black kids like, no, it's okay. Like you're gonna turn out just fine. Like I'm doing okay. I have like a house and like a life, and I have this sweet like Origin laptop. Plug. Like so because I always felt like I don't know what's gonna happen to me. Like I'm not like everybody else. It's very different. I'm in this world where not everyone there's not a lot of people that look like me, you know? And so if I can show like one young black kid, no, it's okay to like this stuff. It doesn't matter if people make fun of you. Like you do you because you're gonna do well. And those people that are making fun of you, they're probably not gonna be doing as well as you when you're grown. So joke's on them.
Right. Yeah.
You're Squirtle. You're in here for the long haul.
You're no Bulbasaur.
No, nobody. The bullies are Bulbasaurs.
Bulbasaur's all right. He's okay.
I like him.
What's I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. What's your workflow for Up Up Down Down? So for our listeners that don't know, you started Up Up Down Down a little over a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You have a bunch of other wrestlers on that play games with you.
Mm-hmm.
The stereotype could be thrown of like, do these guys really like games, or is Austin just like getting people in there and getting them out to shoot stuff? But it seems like you pick games to their interests.
Yeah. So it's funny because everybody pretty much like plays something. Like even it's like Booker T loves Virtua Tennis, and he's very good at it. This was in a different lifetime before WWE. We played a game against each other on Vita.
I can see that like right now on like r/squared circle. Like Booker T loves Virtual Tennis. 200 upvotes.
Yeah. I was playing. He's like, "Oh, what are you playing, kid?" I'm like, "Oh, Virtua Tennis. It's like one of my favorite games." He's like, "Oh man, I'd whip you." And I'm thinking he's just like saying like, that's what old dudes say. Like, yeah, they're gonna beat us young kids in video games. And I'm like 20, 21 maybe. And he's like, "No, I have it right here." And he pulls it out of his pocket. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna crush this man." And he has no idea. And he like wiped the floor with me. I had no idea. So it's funny you find out that people like certain things that you wouldn't necessarily think that they enjoy. So I know like so Apollo Crews, new acquisition for the main roster. He loves FIFA.
Okay.
PS4, and like he told me that. It's like, "Oh, you like soccer?" Like, okay. He's like, "Yeah, I love FIFA. It's so good." So he's bringing FIFA, and we're gonna play that. Fandango loves Final Fantasy. Huge Final Fantasy guy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's these little things that you don't necessarily think about. But there's definitely a game for everybody in the locker room. Right now, we're playing UFC 2 like our life depends on it. It is the most fun game to like watch people play and to play. And normally, so I've done this thing. So I have a games case, and so you can put your PlayStation and it's like a TV built into this briefcase essentially.
At one point, it was dropped.
Yes.
Drive along.
Yeah, ride along. Yeah. So it fell out of the back of a car, and it was luckily okay because they're built to like take punishment. Games case, plug. So I bring that, and I have my gaming laptop too. And so I've also now convinced Kofi to get a games backpack, which is like you can slide your PS4 in there, and there's like a very thin TV that you can slide in there, and then you can slide all your other stuff like that you regularly need too. So he's got the backpack. AJ now has a backpack too. Aiden English has a backpack. So when you walk in a locker room, it's like an arcade now. Everybody's got stations and set up, and it's cool because
so you're just rolling in the commission for these companies,
dude. Killing it. No. I wish. Give me some money. But it's nice because this was maybe like a year and a half ago. The landscape was completely different. Like there weren't really video games there. So, but since the gaming channel, people have been coming in to play on the channel, and then now, a year and a half later, they're like playing in the locker room, and everybody is kind of being brought closer together, and it's like very good for morale. Dudes you normally might not hang out with, not because you dislike them, you just don't hang out. You know, you just don't cross paths.
Right.
Now you're all like cowered around PS4. Everybody's playing Madden. Everybody's playing UFC. AJ brings his 360 a lot, so I'm gonna go pick up a copy of Def Jam Fight for New York.
All right.
I'm very excited about that. So like people like those games. They like new games, old games. It's fun to see everybody just hang out and be cool.
Sure, yeah, and I think that relates to like Pokemon Go and how it's been number one in the App Store, and all these people that I feel like So I obviously, me running a Pokemon podcast, I post about Pokemon a lot, and now like all these people have come out from the woods and they're downloading it and they're asking me questions of like, hey, how do you do this in Pokemon Go? And it's like, we haven't talked in a year, and the only reference is I run a Pokemon podcast, and oh, all right, but it's cool. It's like really cool to see like somebody like my sister who I can't even remember the last time she played a video game. She was like, "Oh, I downloaded Pokemon Go. I haven't played it yet, but I'm excited to do so." And I'm just like, "We should get dinner." Like, that's exciting. Like that makes me not want to like. I love my sister, but we rarely see each other. But like now, I want to like hang out with her. But yeah, that's really cool. I know you were at CEO. You mentioned Def Jam. Mm-hmm. You're a big fighting game guy.
Yes, love them. I haven't gotten into Pokken Stadium as much as I would like because I'm never, ever home to play my Wii U. But I played it a little bit, and it is pretty sweet. The only thing that I think is glaringly wrong with it is that there's no Butterfree.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting.
That is upsetting. I thought you were going to complain about the camera change, but...
Oh, that's... I can get used to it. Did I call it Pokken Stadium?
Yes.
Pokken Tournament.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me.
We could edit it and make you sound good.
Sweet. Fix it in post.
That's what we do with everything. Yeah, we should probably get together and play Pokken Stadium one time.
Yes, tournament.
Now I'm saying it wrong. All right, I guess we keep filling this in because who knows? We should play Pokken Tournament though, and that would be really cool. It's like the one fighting game I like. I like other fighting games, but I feel like I'm okay at Pokken Tournament.
Who do you play?
I normally play Blaziken, which I'm not a Blaziken fan, but fair. I feel he feels good in the game. I was a big Machamp user.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah, Machamp's really cool.
He's the man.
And he has the belt.
Yeah, exactly. So he's good.
he's all set up. Going back to... I guess you didn't really answer it. I asked what your what your workflow was for UpUpDownDown. I didn't say, but like...
So normally... I will film the episodes, and so we do like Let's Plays and jump scares, which I'll try to do at my house because I have a green screen that I'll set up. You can't see it, but you can see it. So I set it up right here in my like dining room area. I'll film that, and then I'll shoot it over to our editor, Sean, who is the greatest editor on the face of the planet. He's so good. Shouts to Sean, Shawnee Cohen's. His nickname on the show is Swag Boy Sean. So we started playing GTA 5, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
But so he edits those, and then the stuff that I film with other guys when I'm at Raw SmackDown, he edits those too. So he's essentially like he's our backbone. He's our like beating heart for the channel. And then we'll do director's cuts, which is like me editing, which is nowhere near as good. And it's usually just like, here, I cut these two things together. I'm gonna upload it. I hope it doesn't suck. And normally the audio is crap, but I'm sorry, I'm trying. So I'm just trying to get all that done. And then we have Mike Murphy, who does the WWE 2K stream. So that's like the wrestling game. I think he's on like episode 90 of the stream because they do like an hour and a half, 2 hour stream, I think, and then cut it up into pieces and throw it on the channel. So so it's good. It's fun. But I'm just trying to film at all times.
Sure.
Trying to get ahead as much as possible because like I hate to be like behind like the gun, you know. So right now I think we're like 4 weeks ahead with everything. So it makes me feel a little bit better. I can kind of breathe, relax a little bit, and that way I can focus more on these Overwatch videos that we're trying to put out like daily or every other day. So I can kind of crank one out and throw it up and. Maybe like 2 a day.
Well, you kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You get the recording done, and you get to play a game that you enjoy.
Exactly, and so that's what I'm trying to harp on right now. Because so many people were all about Overwatch, and I was like, I'm not gonna get on this Overwatch hype. And it's like, well, I need to play for the channel, so I'll try it out. And I did, and I was like, oh, this game might be the best game of the year. I've been sleeping on this, and now I can't stop.
That's awesome. Cool. With UpUpDownDown, have you ever considered like teaming up with other YouTubers or other streamers and tried to do more stuff together? Because besides the wrestlers that are on, it's either just you or it's like you and Seth Rollins or something like that. Have you ever thought expanding it that way, or so far like what you're doing is on schedule and you don't need to expand at this point?
Well, we've been doing some stuff with other YouTubers. So I do a lot of stuff with Chris Danker. So Dank Ops, check him out on YouTube. He does a bunch of stuff with the WWE 2K game, and so we were both at a like 2K. Hey, this game hasn't dropped yet, but you guys can play it because he's like I think he's the biggest 2K wrestling 2K guy for subscription and views wise. So we hit it off pretty well. We have a really good rapport. So did some stuff on his channel. We did like the what is it, the what's in my mouth challenge, like where you go like buy, yeah, you looked at me weird. So you go buy stuff at the grocery store, like whatever, five things, and then you buy 5 things. For me, we wear blindfolds, and then we try to like eat them and try to figure out what they are. So it's nothing like disgusting.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
it's food though.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be if it depends on the parameters that you're wanting to play the game. So we did food, nothing disgusting. So we'll do like outside stuff like that, and I've done some stuff with Deji, guy in the UK. He's got like millions of subscribers. Pretty cool. He's an awesome guy. So we did stuff with Impractical Jokers. That was awesome. Just had Wayne Brady on. So trying to just branch out in like whatever direction possible. Because in my head, the channel right now, subscriptions are mainly like wrestling fans, because that's where I come from, is wrestling. So
right.
They know and they watch, and so I'm trying to get more into the gaming world, and so just trying to branch out wherever I can. So like doing stuff like this. So maybe Pokemon fans would be like, "Oh, cool, I like that guy. Let's see what he does with video games. Oh, cool, I like that. I'll subscribe." Or like, "I hate his guts. I'm never gonna talk to him or think about him again." Either way, your opinion's your own. But I feel like there are so many avenues to communicate with people. So why just keep it in just wrestling, or why keep it in just games? And so I feel like people that like Wayne Brady might remember, oh, I used to have a Genesis. Let me watch them play Mortal Kombat. And they go, oh, you know what? Let me watch these other videos. Now they're watching Overwatch. They go, oh my God, this game looks awesome. Now they're back into games.
Right.
You know, so I feel like there's like a very good Venn diagram of the people that I've been doing collaborations with. So it's cool to, one, get the opportunity, and two, like that people enjoy the collaborations.
Sure. Do you make those connections? Because I told very few people about this interview coming up, because I was like, if it falls through, I don't want to like look like a fool. But they were like, how did you get Xavier Woods? And I was like, or Austin Creed. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I just reached out to him, and we just started talking, and then I flew out here, and here we are. So when you get somebody like Wayne Brady on, do you reach out to them, or? So
we were actually on an episode of Let's Make a Deal. And so we were going there that day, so I just brought my stuff. And so I run the channel out of a briefcase that you see here on the table. So
right, yeah.
I have my laptop in there. I have a Yeti microphone. I have 2 PlayStation controllers that I plug in if we play on emulators. Yes, emulators, but I own all of the games that I play on the channel, so don't try to come at me with anything. Thank you very much. Okay, anyway. So literally we were there, and I started. You're
telling me you don't carry a Genesis in your bag.
I right now at this moment in time don't carry Genesis.
Okay.
But I had on my Nintendo Vans that I had just gotten. And so his stage manager, who I asked, like, hey, would Wayne be cool being on my show? It's like a podcast, but we just play video games too. He's like, yeah, he loves games. We will ask him about it, but normally he's too busy because they're filming like so many episodes of the show a day. They're like 6 months ahead of where they're supposed to be. So like they're just cranking them out, and he's got stuff to do like on the outside of it as well. So he's like, I don't know, we'll see. And so once he came in the room and we started talking, he looked at my shoes. He goes, where'd you get those? And I was like, oh, these old things. He's like, oh, they're the new Nintendo Vans. I showed him. He's like, oh my God, so you love games? And I'm like, yeah. And I have like this gaming show. Like, if you'd be cool to do it. He's like, of course, let's do it. And so they said he normally like doesn't have time to cut out of his day, but he just took 10 minutes and sat down, and we talked all of his stuff, like Broadway, Let's Make a Deal, Who's Line. Like it was really cool that he was able to and wanted to sit down and talk to me about this stuff. So it's legit. A lot of them happen just by random chance, because like, I don't know, I'm to the point where like, I don't care about asking people. At first I was like, I don't know, excuse me, sir, could you mind being on my show? I don't know, maybe. But now I'm just like, hey, I've got this show, we play video games, do you want to do it or not? And people were like, yeah, I love video games. And so it's been working out.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. That's really cool. For UpUpDownDown, is it ever going to be on the WWE Network? Maybe I can't ask that question.
You can ask. So the reason that it's not on the network is because the way that I see it, I want to bring my love of video games to the masses. And if it's on the network, then only a certain type of people will be able to watch it.
They already like wrestling.
Exactly. And those people that would be able to watch on the network can still watch it on YouTube. But now other people can watch it as well. And you don't have to pay to see it. Because in my ideal of how everything works. There's so many things on the network that are so good. The Camp WWE, Unfiltered with Renee Young. They've got Corey Graves' show. They've got so many things, so much good content. I want to be the thing that might even segue people into getting the network. If they go, oh, I don't really watch wrestling, but now they saw me on Hot Pepper Gaming or they heard me on your podcast, and they go, oh, cool. I like this guy, but I didn't like wrestling. Maybe I'll check him out on Raw. Then they watch Raw and they go, oh, this guy's cool, but you know what, too? I like Adrian Neville, or I like Apollo Crews, or I like anybody. Maybe I should get the network. And then that just bleeds them into being a wrestling fan. And I'm trying to bleed wrestling fans into being gamers and gamers into being wrestling fans. So it's like a two-way street. So I feel like being on YouTube right now is the best avenue to do that.
Yeah. And that's funny you say that, because I like convert people into wrestling fans with like Ride Along or like one of those shows, because they have the stereotype of, oh, it's fake, or it's, and it's like, no, like think of it like a play or a performance.
Yeah, it's the last form of Shakespeare in the round. That's it.
But like, let's start here, because these are real people in a car. They're having conversations. They're usually super funny. Mm-hmm. And now like, oh, now you like Big E. Now look at Big E like shake in the ring. Like that's really cool.
He can move. He can move. He's got those loose hips. Him and Kofi's, I don't know how he does what he does on the live events. There's this thing where he twerks to the song that I play, and I thought he was gonna break his back one time. The way that his body's gyrating, it's unreal. So if you want to see that, come and watch us wrestle.
Let's get back to games. What was your favorite console growing up? Like, our listeners can't see this, and if they're unfamiliar with you, you have a Zelda tattoo on your arm.
Yes.
So clearly you have a love for Nintendo.
Yes, huge love for Nintendo. But I will say, this Triforce tattoo comes from love of Zelda. While I do love Nintendo, this comes straight from Zelda. So my console growing up, I was a Sega Genesis guy, and I was a Sega Genesis guy because of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's one of the, to me, like, there's no such thing as a perfect game.
Right, yeah.
Well, there is, because Mario Kart Double Dash, that's a perfect game. The closest thing to being perfect is probably Sonic 2, because like music-wise, the music in every stage is like flawless. Like the gameplay, just the way it looks, the way it feels, everything about Sonic 2 is amazing to me. And then I have obviously like childhood nostalgic memories to it. Why do you keep buzzing? Sorry, my phone is buzzing. Oh,
you're a popular dude.
It's a Facebook group that I'm in. We're talking about going hunting for Pokemon on Thursday.
Pokemon Go.
So Sonic 2 got me into Sega Genesis, and they're like hard, and then it was like Kid Chameleon and Toe Jam and Earl, and Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 2, and I was just like loving everything. I never had a Super Nintendo growing up because we had one at the daycare that I was at, and so I'd play it there. So my mom saw it there. She's like, "Oh, you don't need one at the house." I'm like, "No, I do." But then it switched from Genesis to Sega Saturn, and so like that's my favorite system of all time. Sega Saturn is the like greatest gift that mankind could have ever given us, because the composers that they have on every game, especially like Clockwork Knight, Nights into Dreams, Panzer Dragoon, like music to me in video games is very important, because I can play a bad game with good music for a long time. Because I'm audibly satisfied.
Keeps you going.
Yeah, but a good game with bad music, I'm like, oh, this game's now it's mediocre. But music is so huge, because it can take moments that are supposed to be like grandiose and make them even bigger, and like it can make you cry, they can make you happy, they can make you laugh. Like, so, and Sega Saturn was like the best system for music for me of all time. So that's my system.
It's awesome.
Overall.
Is Sonic 2 still like your game, or is there another game that has captured like your interest in the years?
I don't know. Sonic 2 was the first to hit me like that hard, because obviously I played all the stuff on regular Nintendo and everything. River City Ransom on regular Nintendo captured me in a different way, because it was like fighting. So that's the best NES game to me. But I don't know if anything has ever hit me as hard as Sonic 2 hit me, and that's intense, because I think I was like 7 or 8, and so like I don't think you can get those kinds of childhood like feels when you're out of that zone. So yeah,
maybe Pokemon Go is doing that to some people. Like,
I think so. It's definitely doing a lot.
What still jumping around. Who is the most requested person for Up Up Down Down, and have they been on? Have they not been on?
People request Becky a lot, Becky Lynch. And so when I saw that, I was like, we're going to hold her episode hostage and you're going to get us to 500,000 subscribers.
Sure, yeah.
She goes, oh, legit. I can't do her accent. It's bad. But she just uses a bunch of like awesome words that people don't use, but they sound perfect coming from her because she's like so like happy and cute and bubbly, but then she'll like murder you. It's like she's jacked and she's awesome. She's one of my favorite people on the roster. She's so cool. Yeah, they were requesting her, so like we did her episode, and when it was finally like released, people just requested her again.
Okay.
So it's like
I didn't see that one. What did she end up playing?
So what did we play? We played Mortal Kombat X.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
she was down with that.
Yeah, she loved it. She likes the fatalities and the X-rays and everything.
Oh, okay.
So people request who's been big. It's mainly Becky, because the episode that we did was really solid, and then Sasha versus Bailey, because I periodically do like fights between them. They did Mortal Kombat X as well, but it was like Bailey Sasha 3 because they had the 2 matches like in the ring. But as far as people that get asked for a lot, it's Becky, Bailey, Sasha, and Miz, because Miz and I had a very intense battle in Street Fighter 2 where he put up his Intercontinental Championship that was hanging on his wall, and I put my 2K Championship that I was hanging on my wall up for grabs, and I just E-Honda'd him into the corner and just 100 hand slapped him and just made a fool of him. And he was so upset, and there were people that were online that were saying, oh, that's so cheap, blah, 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 blah. And my thing is like, it's not my job to not use the move. It's your job to learn how to make me not use it.
Right, yeah.
So if they didn't want it in the game, they wouldn't have put it there. And it's like, it's such like a scrub tactic, but like, if you can't deal with the scrub tactic, then why should I give you anything better? So
that's true.
To me, it was just to disrespect him. And so people asked for him because after I took his Intercontinental Championship, we made a bet for his U.S. Championship. So he's going to take that off of his wall, and I'll take that too. So we'll play Street Fighter 5, I believe. So people have been waiting for that for a couple of months. So it'll happen eventually for those of you who are waiting.
Okay.
It'll come.
All right. What's your relationship like with other video game websites? So you've been doing Up Up Down Down for over a year, but like we've seen you on Giant Bomb, we've seen you, appear here and there elsewhere. But like, how does that work for you? Are they dying to have you on, or is that something you want to do?
I wouldn't say dying. I feel like I've built a good rapport with a lot of people that do gaming stuff. So like, so it's very fun to do stuff for each other. So like, when you mentioned Giant Bomb, I met a bunch of those guys.
And they're all big wrestling fans.
Yeah. So I met them at a wrestling event before I was doing the gaming channel, and so I want to say it was SummerSlam like 3 years ago when I met Alex Navarro. But it was like the middle of the day, and one of them walked by me and he's like, hey, I work for Giant Bomb. It was Dan. He was like, oh, I work for Game Informer. I'm like, oh, cool, let's talk. And so we exchanged numbers like right then. I was literally in passing, and then that night like we were having dinner, and that's when I met Alex. And just like a bunch of the Giant Bomb guys, and we started talking about like how we love like PS Vita, and they're like, oh, you actually like play games? We didn't realize. I'm like, no, I love games. So then I would do like a top 10 games of the year for them every like December.
Right. Yeah.
And so then other people started realizing like, oh, like Woods is actually like into video games. And so just talking through people, essentially through that venue, like I said, I built a good rapport with a good amount of people. And then so I started Up, Up, Down, Down. So I was able to say like, hey guys, can you help me out? Can you give me tips? Like, can you watch this stuff and tell me if it's any good? Do I suck at this? Like, what do I need to change? Like, or am I just not cut out for this? Like, so people have been really cool with helping me. And so helping me in figuring out how I want to do what I'm doing on my channel, and helping me and get the word out by having me on their podcasts, by having me on their channels, by doing interviews with me and stuff like that. So like you mentioned Giant Bomb. I've done stuff with Greg Miller at Kind of Funny Games, stuff with Vernon at Hot Pepper Gaming. Like everybody's been so cool, and it's nice because we all have stuff to talk about, and it's like all of the people that I very much enjoy are always at these gaming conventions. So like I'll see them and I don't realize that they know each other too. And then it's just like a big group of like a bunch of people that I've met within the past like 3 years that have become very close friends that are like near and dear to my heart. So it's nice that I've been kind of like accepted into their world.
That's
I guess.
cool. That's awesome. Let's run down a couple of Pokemon questions. I guess this is a Pokemon podcast.
Let's do it.
You said your favorite Pokemon is Butterfree.
Yes.
Do you have a 3DS? Are you
Yes, I do.
up to date?
I have
with
two
that?
3DSs actually. I have one with the Pokemon. Who is it on the front? The red one.
Yveltal Xerneas?
Maybe the huge legendary bird
from X and Y.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have that one. And then I also recently got one with a capture card. So
Okay.
that I can like film stuff because the new River City Ransom is coming out soon and I wanted to be able to capture it. Anyway, so I do have a 3DS.
So
Yes.
are you up to date with the games? Have you played like X and Y or Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire? Or
I've played X and Y. I played Omega for a little bit. And then I haven't played anything because I heard about Go. And so I actually stopped playing all games because I was like, well, it's not going to be better than Go. My friend's like, oh, they're re-releasing like Red and Green. I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting for Go so I can play in real life. That's all I want.
Right, yeah.
And so it's not that like it's not that I dislike these games now. Like all I want to do is play Pokemon and Go.
Right, yeah. No, that's exciting. That's kind of how, like, I knew you were super into video games, and then I went back and I was like, okay, like he's tweeting about Go because like it's one thing to ask somebody who likes video games to be on, but like if they like Pokemon, like that's kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah.
So are you following Sun and Moon at all? Are you excited for those, or is it
not really?
You're
it's
on the
legit Pokemon Go. Like I'm so honed into this because like we talked about, like I don't have like a ton of time for stuff, but like I've carved out a good amount of time for Go, especially because like since on a mobile device, like I've got my phones like glued to my hand at all times anyway.
Right.
So if I can flip it on and track some steps and get some kilometers in and hatch an egg, then I'm happy and I can catch some stuff. And it's cool because too, people that don't play the game that I hang out with, when they see it, they go, holy crap, that's awesome. And they download it too. So again, back to bringing people together through Pokemon. It's cool for that.
Yeah. And that's what we kind of said earlier, where like I started the show because, oh, if you play Pokemon, you must play it competitively. But it's like, no, there's so many more aspects to this. So I have a couple listeners that are like, I don't get what the Go aspect is about. Like, why are people so excited when there's these new Pokemon games on the horizon? And it's like, I'm excited for those, and I will play 100+ hours into those, which is probably small for some people. Are like only 100, but like to me, it's more the community, and now I see that with Go. Whereas like me and my friend Alex were walking around Cincinnati Park. Centennial Park. We were walking around Centennial Park, and two guys just came up to us, and they were like, "Oh, you're playing Pokemon Go?" And we're like, "Yeah. Who you catching?" We're looking for Machoke right now. Oh, we're looking for Psyduck. Have you seen him? Yeah. Like we caught him like 10 minutes ago. It was just like that cool interaction, and yeah, you kind of get that with the 3DS community, but like, I don't know. It's because everyone has smartphones and everyone can get this game, and there's no like paywall preventing people from playing it. And right now, it's everywhere in the news. Like you see articles like, girl found guy murdered by playing Pokemon Go, or like here are the top 5 Pokemon Go hot professors. Like it's like everyone's like trying to find a way to talk about Pokemon Go in the most absurd way, but at the same time, like that's really cool that so many people are excited. Yeah, and Pokemon's very based on community, so
100%.
Yeah,
I think it's cool because it's what we've always wanted. Like since the first time you saw Pokemon and you see like Ash throw a Pokeball, you're like, what? That's awesome. And now, like, you feel like you can do the same thing. And even on another aspect, so, like, we were kids when that came out. And so now the fact that, like, we can not only play this as adults, but then there's some adults who watch Pokemon who have kids now. So, like, they can all download it and they can still play the same game that they love, like, with their kids. And they can get them outside and say, like, hey, let's go for a walk around the neighborhood. Now we're exercising and we're catching Pokemon. Yeah. Now you want to travel and now you want to be outdoors and now you want to like get fit. Like I saw a meme and it was like Michelle Obama took her 8 years to get kids outside exercising. Pokemon did it in 24 hours.
Right, yeah.
So it's like it's cool and good on so many levels that like I don't think that people really I guess we're ready for it to hit them this hard.
Yeah, I probably lost 5 pounds of sweat.
Yeah.
Just in sweat yesterday walking around.
And you don't even thinking about it because you're playing a game.
Right, and
And
I was
well,
having
you're
so
not.
much fun.
You're catching Pokemon.
Right.
It's not a game.
Yeah, and we're in Atlanta right now, and it's so hot. And I was like, I don't care that it's hot. I just want to go outside. I want to hit up these Pokestops. Like, this is my route. I'm gonna circle back. It was probably some of the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
On just a game that, you know, at its core, Pokemon Go is kind of pretty simple. But and people are like, well, you know, it's not that. It's if it wasn't Pokemon, it wouldn't be that great. And
Yeah.
they're probably right. Like,
Yeah,
if it wasn't
100%.
Pokemon, it wouldn't be that great. But at the same time, like, what other game got me to go outside in 90-degree weather and like
Yeah.
I was still having the time of my life?
Mhm.
And I'll never lose that memory.
No. And when people say that kind of stuff, it always is weird to me because they say, "Oh, if it wasn't Pokemon, it wouldn't be that great." Yeah, but it is. So it is. So why are you even saying?
Yeah.
What's the point? Where were we? We were in Tampa on Tuesday night, I believe it was. So we get back from the show and get to the hotel and everything, or Thursday. Yeah, get done with everything. and it's
Thursday,
like-
yeah, that's when the game dropped.
It's like maybe 4 a.m, and I get to the hotel. I'm so tired, and like I kind of park the car, and I was like, oh, maybe there's like a Pokemon around here. I flip it on, and I see like there's a Pokestop like down the street, and I was like, started the car, drove down there, flicked it. I was like, okay, I got a few Pokeballs and a potion, and then I was like, there's a gym down there. And I drove around for an hour and a half. Like, why? Why? I just drove around, stopped, collect stuff, drove around, stopped. This morning at the airport, like I told you, I left my hotel at 4 a.m. to get to the airport. And I had like 20 minutes before boarding. And I realized along the whole walkway is Pokestops. I just walked the whole, it's like a half a mile that I walked there and back, just like with a cart in my bag, and I'm on the like moving sidewalk, hoping that counts as steps towards my eggs. And literally, there's only people at my one gate because that's the earliest flight leaving. And so people are cleaning, and the guy who like passes like a Zamboni looking thing, and he sees me looking at my phone. I look up at him, and he goes and just nods at me, and then he's like, without saying it, he knew. Oh, you're here for the Pokestops. I got you.
Yeah, when we were walking around outside yesterday, a homeless person came up to us and was like, what is this game everyone's playing? And I was like, whoa. So we like chatted with him. He was super nice. He was just like, and he actually like understood it, and he compared it to a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's like a New Day scavenger hunt. And I was like, that is a good way to explain it. And
100%.
We talked with him, and it was like, everyone knows about this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's great. Are there people on the roster, other wrestlers that are excited for Go? Or like you're gonna go with a walk with the rest of the New Day after?
Okay, so I'm trying to get Kofi to get into it, but Kofi only likes to have like 1 or 2 games on his phone that he plays because he gets super addicted to games very fast.
Okay.
Like the mobile Mortal Kombat game, he hasn't stopped playing it. That's all he does. If we have like any 30 seconds of downtime, he's like, oh, I can get a match in. And he does that, so he gets hooked. We play Clash of Clans.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I know you guys have like the Nikki Clan, I think it's called.
Yeah, Nikki Clan. So it's very serious, but I think one of the guys just dropped out because Pokemon Go got too serious. And I'm not saying I'm dropping out of the clan, but
you have a new commitment.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. So there's a few people, like Breeze is gonna start playing. Sasha Banks plays, and Makazi.
I saw her tweet about Go.
Yeah.
Are these like, did they have an interest in Pokemon, or like to you they're like, this is what's rekindling?
Sasha did, definitely, and then Breeze, like he loves like all video games. He plays everything. So
okay.
So he legit texted me because he saw my stuff. He's like, hey, so what's Pokemon Go?
See, I'm just making a list of like the next superstars I get on the show. Like, Sasha, Breeze.
Well, yeah. As far as Pokemon, yeah, I think it stops there. But I'll ask around for you.
All right. Cool. I don't have much else. I don't know if there was anything you wanted to like pimp for your Up Up Down Down. Anything come in or?
No, it's just all the same stuff. No. Yeah. If you enjoy the conversation, then make sure to go to YouTube and search Up Up Down Down, and then hit that subscribe button. Makes me real happy. We're almost at 600,000 subscribers. We might hit it by the end of today, so that would be pretty cool. but yeah, it's just all video games, all sorts of stuff, whatever is kind of hot at the time that I'm into. I try not to like shill things like, hey, you should play this because this is hot right now. It's like, no, you should play this because I really enjoy it.
Right.
Like there's a game called Android Assault Cactus that's on Steam. It's like a bullet hell game. And so I downloaded it and started filming stuff. And one of my friends was here. They're like, why are you playing that? No, it's like, it's not trending or anything right now. It's like, I don't care if it's trending. I like it.
Right.
And I want to play it. Like, it's not going to do a lot of views. And it didn't do like a ton, but like it made me happy to make the video.
Yeah.
Because,
and you got to play it.
Exactly. And there's a few people who are like, oh, I didn't know about this. Like, I'm going to try it out now. And so like that on the inside like makes me feel good because then hopefully the people that made that game get a few more bucks in their pocket and hopefully like something to gearing them to make another one. There we go.
Sure. Yeah. Is there any games like you're looking forward to after? Well, now Go's out, so that's going to take up everyone's time.
Go is taking my life.
Is there anything coming out this holiday or anything that you're looking forward to?
Mafia 3.
Okay.
So that comes out October, I believe. It's going to be disgustingly violent. Excuse me, I belched. Very violent, and it's set in like a New Orleans type of area, where you are. I don't know if I can explain it. How PG the show is.
It's pretty PG, but we bleep or cut what's needed.
It's a show where you're getting back at people who have done you wrong because of the color of your skin in certain parts of the game.
Okay.
And it makes me very excited to be able to do that in a video game.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
So Sea of Thieves. It's a game where you're a pirate and you sail a ship with other pirates and just do pirate things.
I don't have an Xbox One, but that game makes me want
awesome.
an Xbox One.
Yes. Everything that's coming out with Square Enix, that's like my favorite video game company. They make everything. So they make Final Fantasy and all that stuff. So Final Fantasy Remake, when that comes out in like 17 years. Final Fantasy 15. So that'll be dropping like fairly soon. So excited for those things. It'll be
New
cool.
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, new Zelda. I didn't get to play it at E3, unfortunately, but I got to like see it, and it's like gorgeous.
See, I purposely have like avoided it because I didn't want anything.
Oh yeah,
I didn't want anything spoiled. I was like, I already know I want to play it. You don't have to convince me.
You don't have to tell me anything about it. Then there's a new River City Ransom game coming out on 3DS. I think that comes out in like 2 months. But yeah, just there's stuff on like all consoles all around that's just gonna be good and fun. So get all the consoles and play all the games.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out and recording with us.
Of course.
So
thank you for having me.
Maybe we can do some more stuff in the future. There will be some Pokemon Go content definitely coming. Probably before this though. Probably. But if you haven't seen it already, check each other's YouTubes. That'll be on either one somewhere. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
How should I end this?
This is the end.
This is the end. I don't know how to end this. So
just like this. This is perfect.
Yeah, just like this. We will just end this here. We'll be back after our break with our Pokemon of the week, and we'll probably cover some emails too. So we'll be right back.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Do you already know the Pokemon of the week?
I don't. Do you want to request it?
Yeah. Butterfree.
All right. We will be back after this break, and we will be doing Butterfree as our Pokemon of the week.
Yes.